Hello, dear viewers. I'm happy to be back again. It is a great pleasure to be talking to you again today. A very good afternoon to you all watching us. Today, I want us to talk about non-communicable diseases. Basically, these are diseases that are becoming very popular now in Zambia, and for the wrong reasons, and causing a lot of problems when it comes to nutrition. These are diseases that, for example, like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cancer. We are seeing a lot of cancer cases in our hospitals, and also stroke. You know, these conditions, yes, they were there in Zambia over the years, but now we are beginning to see a steady increase in these cases, and it's most likely also because of diet. There are a number of reasons as to why one would suffer from diet-related non-communicable diseases, like the examples I've given: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, and cancer, and so forth. But diet plays an important role. There are usually four key risk factors for these diseases. For example, smoking is also a problem when it comes to these diseases. Also, alcohol consumption, excesses, or let me say alcohol abuse, actually causes non-communicable diseases. Physical inactivity is another. We've become a very sedentary nation. We just want to sit, use the escalator, use the lifts, yet this puts us at risk of a number of diseases. When your body is not moving, you actually put it at risk of diseases. So let us move. There is need to move. But lastly, diet. The foods that we are consuming as a nation are not actually optimal. They do not ensure that you have an optimal diet. Now, what is this diet that I'm talking about? We are now consuming a lot of sugar. There's a lot of sugar now in the Zambian diet. There's also a lot of, let me just say, carbohydrates in general. The refined form of carbohydrates. Refined meaning you take away all the good in the food and you just have that white mealie meal, like in the case of breakfast mealie meal. It's basically starch. You're taking in energy with nothing else, and that is actually dangerous for your health. These fritters that we are consuming, deep fried in oil, and already the flour that we use, the white flour, contains no nutrients. It's just energy, but we consume a lot of that. Bread, white bread, you find someone eating 5, 6, 10 slices of white bread. It's again just energy with nothing else. Lunch hour would come and you're eating a big portion of mshima with very little else. A teaspoon or two of kalembula with maybe a drumstick of chicken, but a very big portion of mshima. That, my dear viewers, actually causes you or puts you at risk of what we call diet-related non-communicable diseases. Type 2 diabetes is expensive to manage. Hypertension is very expensive to manage. So why not prevent instead of wait until you have the condition for you to be running in and out of hospital? This is not ideal. So how then do you prevent putting yourself at risk of these diseases using diet? Please, let's ensure that we consume less processed foods. Less processed starches especially. So your nshima, is it possible that you consume maybe say what we call mugaiwa or straight run nshima? So basically your maize meal flour should be that of, it should contain even the covers of the maize grain, because it is in those covers where the nutrients actually lie. So let's start by switching from, it's a simple switch, from breakfast meal to even straight run nshima. Roller is, personally, it's not a good option because it still will raise or spike your sugar levels. So I would rather you go for mugaiwa or even nshima from millet, sorghum. I know the color may not be appealing to many, but trust me, when it comes to nutrition, it actually is better. Or you can do a blend where you blend maize meal nshima from, let's say, straight run. You add in a bit of millet, a bit of cassava, and you create that blend and cook your nshima. It actually even is better because you have the benefit of all these cereal grains put together. And also the next thing is the portion. The portions that we consume are too huge. As Zambia, we now have what we call the food-based dietary guidelines, where we've assessed the way the patterns of eating have been, and we are now recommending that we only have about 4 to 5 servings of cereals, starchy roots, and tubers per day, because 70%, 80% of the Zambian diet comes from this food group. But unfortunately, there is need to eat different types of food, so leave room to consume different types of foods. Not all your foods should come from this group. 80% is a bit too much. What would say maybe 50 to 60% is okay to have your nshima, and this would translate into maybe say a fist size of nshima or two, not my fist size, but your fist size of nshima or two, and also maybe 2 to 3 slices of bread instead of 10, you know, and also cutting down on these crackers and biscuits, and even for the children. And mind you, this has to start from a young age. Don't wait until you are old for you to start eating like this. Inculcate it in your young children. Mugaiwa nshima, for example, a young child can also take it. So please let us start early. By the time your children will be turning 50, they will not have a problem when they are told you need to eat millet nshima, because they've been eating like that from home. So let's ensure that we cut down on these other processed foods and focus more on natural foods. Foods in their natural state is actually more beneficial than the processed kinds, especially what we call ultra processed. By ultra processed, I mean foods that sometimes you even lose, you don't even know what food it is, or you know what was the natural form of the food, like biscuits and cakes, and you know they add a lot of sugar, they add a lot of flour, and oftentimes that will just increase the energy consumption but nothing else. So then you result in weight gain, especially weight gain around the abdomen, which then causes fats to be surrounded in your organs, and then you begin to see these challenges with what we call diet-related non-communicable diseases. So please, let's ensure, especially this food group called cereals, starchy roots, and tubers, we eat excessive amount of food from this group. Focus more on these other foods. As a rule of thumb, make sure that your plate, half of your plate consists of vegetables, the other half you divide between your nshima and either an animal source food or a pulse or legume like beans or soya pieces or whatever it may be. But remember, half the plate should be vegetables, preferably 2 types of vegetables. Thank you very much for listening, and we hope to meet again next week to discuss you know, what it is that we need to do to eat healthy. So please enjoy the rest of the day. Good afternoon.
It's a beautiful afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for another exciting edition of the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV. This is a program that comes to you every Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at exactly 12 hours. We do start with our midday news, and of course, we talk about nutrition, and we get into a segment which talks about what is happening around us. We call that particular segment the Emerging Stories segment, and we go straight into it now to see what is happening right now and what stories are trending, and what stories we do expect to make a feature on our 1930 evening news. And we start with a very interesting story. As you might be aware, yesterday Fred Membe, the Socialist Party leader, was detained at Woodlands Police Station. Now there has been a lot of activity at Woodlands Police Station where Socialist Party leader Fred Membe is currently being held. Now several political leaders who went to visit Mr. Membe have been blocked by police. Now Patriotic Front acting president Given Lubinda is one of the leaders who have been blocked. Let's have a look at this.
Before I talk about the arrest of my friend Fred Membe, let me just say to you Zambians that it is very clear that now we are under a police state.
Yes.
I know that I can visit Fred Membe at 12 hours. I didn't come to visit Fred Membe now. I came to report a road accident. Somebody bashed into my car, and I come to the police station here to report. And they're telling me they have to get permission from somebody for me to report. If for me, a citizen of Zambia, for me to go and access police services, I have to write to apply in advance, then you should know that Zambia is under a police state. Shame. I did not come to see Fred Membe at all. I'll come at 12 hours to see Fred. Now I came as a citizen to come and get assistance from the police service. And now they're telling me, wait outside the gate until we get permission. If there are any Zambians who have been doubting, now it is very clear that Haga in the Hijirema wants to treat us like animals in our own country. And all of you here are my witnesses. I was stopped. As a citizen, stopped to go and report an accident at a police station.
They had to spend the night, cold night, for him his demeanor, like we were taught. So for us as opposition, we've made it very clear. You fight one, you fight us all. That's why you've seen that we've taken turns. I'm here with Honorable Member for Lunte, Honorable Kafuaya. Many other leaders from the PF have been here to give solidarity to our colleague, Fred Membe. We may belong to different political parties, but together we are classified as the opposition. Myself, as a leader of opposition in the House, I felt it was very important to come and see Comrade Fred Membe, have a chat with him, to find out really how he's doing and just offer solidarity. We've said this time and again, and I think our friends in the UPND don't seem to get it. The real fight now is against the cost of living. It will not help. You can keep Fred for 1 month in police cells, the cost of living will not go down. The sufferings of the people that were removed from the streets will not go down. He's simply a carrier of a message. You can arrest the messenger, but the message will still survive. Yeah, so to all the Zambians, I think open your eyes. When we have said this in Parliament and outside, that our friends in the UPND were not ready to govern. They came in government without a plan. They are now overwhelmed. And what they are simply doing, they know that Fred Membe is the leader of a party. By arresting him, they are diverting attention. They don't want Zambians to continue talking about the high cost of living. They want to stop Zambians from talking about the hardships that the street vendors are facing. So that we're all here at the police station and the days are going, but it will not help. Yeah, so it's really, really unfortunate that we can get to this. I think a number of people that are here today, some of them even voted for President Hakainde Hichilema because he made promises, that gave people hope.
My colleagues, today I'm a very sad member of Parliament because of two things. When we went in to see the incarcerated Socialist Party President, Dr. Fred Membe, he shared with me that in that police cell, he's sharing that police cell with a young man who is there on account of having stolen chicken and chips.
Shame.
Okay?
Shame.
This young man is sharing a cell with the president of Socialist Party because of nothing but having stolen chicken and chips. I am very sorry. This should not happen in our country. Because the only reason a person can steal chicken and chips is because they are hungry. And let me say this. I have a lot of respect for police officers. I have a lot of respect for journalists. But here we are, police officers and journalists. A lot of us have not eaten breakfast. The reason people are having to do all these bad things they are doing now is because they are hungry. So the problem, Your Excellency, if I were to offer one recommendation, deal with food so that people can find food both available and affordable. That is the only way people will stop stealing fish, chicken and chips. I said I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. So those are some of the leaders that went to visit Socialist Party leader Freddie Membe, who is currently being held at the Woodlands Police Station here in Lusaka, and most of those particular leaders were blocked from visiting Mr. Membe. Now, the offense that was slapped on Mr. Membe of plot number 7347 Nangwenya Road is current contrary to section 191 of the Penal Code, Act number 87 of the laws of Zambia. Now, brief facts of the matter are that on 6 June 2023, Dr. Membe, with intent to defame, published an article and circulated it on social media. Now, in the article, the former Post newspaper's managing editor said that fired cop dies of depression. Now, he further alleged that the deceased Moses Kavamba, a retired assistant commissioner of police who was a divisional criminal investigations officer for Northern Division, had raised blood pressure. So that is why Mr. Membe is being held at the Woodlands police station, of course, awaiting to appear in court. Now, President Hakainde Hichilema has arrived in Livingstone, where he is expected to officiate at the Pre-Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants annual general meeting workshop. Now, the president was welcomed at the airport by a number of UPND supporters, and of course the Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mwetwa and Livingstone Mayor were also in attendance in welcoming the president at the airport. So moving on, and in sports, Zambia international forward Fashion Sakala has been unveiled by Saudi Pro League club Al Fahar. Now, Sakala joins Al Fahar on a 2-year contract with an option of extension for 1 more year. Now, he will earn between 100,000 United States dollars and 200,000 United States dollars per month as salary. Now, he wrote, of course, some touching remembrance letter to the fans of the club where he's coming from, and that is Rangers in Scotland. And he says to the amazing fans and supporters of the football club, I have good news to share with you. I am absolutely delighted to announce that I have joined Al Fahar Football Club. I am excited to join, and I'm excited to join this club. The opportunity to be part of Al Fahar is an honor and a challenge that I wholeheartedly embrace. I am filled with optimism and determination, and I ask to look forward to contributing my passion and dedication to express my gratitude to everyone who has supported me throughout my journey. I am determined to make you proud in this new chapter of my career. Fashion Sakala 10, Dreams Don't Die. Read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 8. So that's what he wrote on his social media page, just to announce that he had made that particular move. So that is what the segment could accommodate for now. That is the emerging stories segment. Now we move to the next segment, but before we do that, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be getting into the next segment.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Television, not just another channel.
Akola kansheko alakula chancha mukero kula chekerera ucho mwana nani nanga nyaba butuka uwinge wo munangoti kasambe nani ingata mwishire pekeni tupushe bana fia sasa ushe umwana nani na ingana babutuka uwinge wo munangoti kasambe nani mwe ipushe ina ipushe nyabo mwikere nabo.
Thank you very much. You are still watching the Lunchtime Cafe on Camnet TV, and we are now getting into another segment, and this is a segment that we call the interview segment, where we bring a lot of people that come to talk about various issues that are affecting us. And today we are privileged. We do have Margaret Kaboswe from MISA Zambia, and she is the Assistant Programs Officer there, just to help us understand and talk about issues to do with the media awards that MISA hosts annually. Now, Madam Kaboswe, thank you very much for making it to the Lunchtime Cafe. Welcome to this interview.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to our viewers.
First things first, tell us about the MISA Zambia Awards.
Okay, so MISA Zambia Awards commenced in 2002 with the objective of promoting media excellence and independence in the country. These awards are open to all journalists practicing in Zambia from both public and private sector. This year we are celebrating the 21st anniversary of the MISA Awards. Yeah. Now,
when do we expect to see these awards? When are they being held for this year?
This year's awards will be held on 15th September at Golden Peacock in Lusaka. Yes.
How many categories do we have?
This year we have a total of 13 categories. That is 6 that is sponsored by MISA Zambia, purely sponsored by MISA Zambia, and the other 7 are sponsored by our cooperating partners. So for MISA Awards, we have Golden TV Award, Golden Radio Award, Golden Community Media Award, Community Radio Media Award. Then we also have Golden Commercial Radio. We have Golden Online Media Award. Then we have Golden Print Media Award. Then for sponsored categories, we have Best Reporting Child Rights Governance, sponsored by Panos. We have Best Social Protection Reporting Award, sponsored by PSPF. We have the Outstanding Reporting on Buy Local Campaign Award, sponsored by Buy Z Campaign. We have Best Reporting Gender Award, sponsored by NGOCC. We have also Best Reporting Climate Change, sponsored by European Union. We also have Antimicrobial Media Champion Award, sponsored by Otrida Kapona, an individual. Yes, so those are the categories we have for this year's awards.
So for this year's awards, where you said they're being held on the 15th, when are you closing the entries?
The entries are closing on 25th August. So by then we expect that even you, if you have done a story, you should submit your entry. Who
qualifies? I know that you have mentioned that if I have done a story, I can submit as well. Who else qualifies for these particular awards?
Okay, it's basically the people that qualify are media practitioners. Those that are coming from both the public and private, and also from religious organizations. So individual journalists can enter, and also institutions, media institutions can also enter. Yes.
Okay. Now, we know that we have seen some cases of COVID-19. What have you put in place to ensure that people are protected as they come for this event?
As usual, the COVID-19 guidelines will be observed. We are going to distribute face masks, and we also have a hand washing basin in just before you enter the gala hall. Yeah.
Now, as we come to the end of this interview, what are your concluding remarks, and what word of encouragement would you have to journalists probably that have stories and are still doubting as to whether they should enter or not?
No, I can say all are welcome. They should not hinder the world from knowing what they are doing, because we are promoting media excellence, so they need to bring forth their work. Yeah.
Madam Kabuso, I would like to thank you very much for making an appearance on the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV.
Thank you so much.
We have been talking to Margaret Kabuswe, who is Assistant Program Officer at MISA Zambia, and she was talking to us about the Media Awards that will be held on the 15th of September in Lusaka. So on that note, we take another short break, and when we come back, we continue with the program.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kid show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamagazagya, to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you very much. That was our interview segment, and we were talking to MISA Zambia, and this time around we're speaking to the Assistant Programs Officer, and this is Margaret Kabuswe, who was talking to us about the Media Awards that are coming on the 15th of September to be held here in Lusaka. But remember that the closing date is on the 25th of August. So if you have any works and you are a journalist that you want to win that particular award, you can send your entries to Miss Zambia, and hopefully you will be one of the winners on that particular day, which is the 15th of September. Now let's move on to the next segment. Now this particular segment, we take you way back in history, just to remind you of some of the things that were happening in this beautiful country, so that we can just refresh our memories. Now let's have a look at some of the stories that were trending on this particular day a few years ago.
We have to appoint people from the structures. When it comes to Modisi, let's not bring people from outside. If whatever is coming from the structure, we will need more. And that's the only way we are going to motivate our people. Very important. People must know that for them to be appointed, they have to work for this party. That we should not entertain that. We need to identify people who have suffered for this party, and we need to reward them, we appoint them, and they will appreciate and they will look after their friends well. Politics, you cannot abandon the party now.
Stakeholders in Zambia have for long been calling for the revision of the Public Order Act POA, as the law which regulates public meetings and similar gatherings is said to have been used by successive governments to disadvantage political opponents. The Zambia Law Development Commission has been receiving submissions for the revision of this law from different stakeholders, following the political will shown by the current United Party for National Development UPND administration for this law to be revised. 19 civil society organizations, CSOs, have made their submissions in the format of a proposed bill for these recommendations to be considered. Delivering the joint press statement on behalf of the CSOs, Governance, Elections, Advocacy, Research Services Gears Initiative Executive Director McDonough Chipenzi says the key emphasis should be to address the ways in which the Act has been abused in the past.
Shorten the notification period to police for gatherings to 48 hours and shorten the time for police response to 24 hours. In the current arrangement, you notify the police within 7 days and they have to get back to you after 5 days. Okay? No, if they don't, then the meeting can go ahead. But in this case, we are saying, let the time be shortened to 48 hours. When you have to notify the police, and 24 hours, the police have to respond to you to say, yes, go ahead, or don't go ahead because of this, or an alternative is given.
Other CSO representatives have also spoken out, namely Transparency International Zambia TIZ, Alliance for Community Action SEA, Foundation for Democratic Process FODEP, the Panos Institute for Southern Africa, and the Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC.
I think you heard in our joint statement that we are calling on everybody that has an interest in this matter, and we believe that you as the media are a very critical player, even in terms of getting this message across.
How do we make the government uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that we continue to push, we continue to advocate, and we continue to speak about this issue, so that that inertia stops? I think that is what is important.
It is important to respect the rights of individuals, and the revision of this act is going to facilitate for that.
We are starting this, early enough in the tenure of a new regime. Gives us a lot of latitude and confidence that we can achieve something in a different way this time around than before.
I think this time, informed by previous experiences, including things that didn't work, I think we have taken an approach where we are speaking with one voice.
The emphasis from the stakeholders is for the bill not to drag, but be quickly passed into law to enhance democracy. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. Zambia has been known to be one of the countries with a young but firm democracy across Africa and the globe at large. This is due to many factors, one of them being the strong will to uphold the rule of law, peace and unity. The country has been a one-party state since it was upheld by the first head of state in Zambia, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, in 1993. This came as a call to enhance democracy in the country, which saw the nation rid of a one-party state in preference for a multi-party participation in governance. And earlier today, the 9th of August, 2022, a political analyst, Alex Ngoma, has expressed concerns over what he terms as the loose statements made by the current administration, the United Party for National Development UPND, where it has been quoted in some sections of the media stating cause for a one-party state owing to the party's performance. And when speaking to Camnet TV News, Mr. Ngoma says such statements should not be tolerated as they stand the potential to destabilize the country, as it is a state which embraces divergent views and holds democracy as one of its virtues.
It's important for every Zambian to understand that the political status of our country is actually enshrined in the Constitution. The Zambian Constitution says that Zambia shall be a multi-party democracy. So how can a person talk of reverting to a single-party state? So that is just being adventurous, and that is a recipe for actually destabilizing this country. Because surely, while some people may support that pronouncement, there will be million others that will oppose the same. And that is what I mean by creating anarchy and instability in the country.
Mr. Ngoma says at a time when nations are embracing multi-party state, it is shocking for a political party in power to utter statements which incite the opposite.
It's important to understand that the mood in the whole world today, the political world order, is based on democracy. So how can a person begin to advocate for something that nobody really wants to talk about? You know, being the only country where you talk about single-party democracy. Where is this coming from? It's a very, very strange way of looking at things. That's what I would say.
It says the Constitution is clear on the country's stance on this matter and has since advised politicians not to be too adventurous with matters of governance. Messi Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
An Indian national suspected of bribing an energy regulation board officer with 4,000 kwacha will continue to await consent from the Director of Public Prosecution before he can be prosecuted. Aditya Arora, an export manager for logistics at Surya Energy Limited, is alleged to have bribed Ezra Siamasumo, a public officer, with 4,000 kwacha in order for him to have his oil tanker included on a list of tankers that had been inspected and were due for inclusion in a petroleum products transportation license. He has been slapped with one count of corrupt practices, contrary to Section 19(2) of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012. Meanwhile, Tuesday morning, the Lusaka's Magistrate Court dismissed the state's application to have his lawyer, Mwansa Chibaila, recuse himself from representing him. On Monday, the 8th of August 2022, the state applied that the accused lawyer, Mr. Chibaila, recuse himself from representing the accused person on ground that he has been warned and cautioned in a matter emanating from his client's case. Mr. Chibaila, however, argued, stating that he knows no law that deters him from representing the accused person. And this morning, when the matter came up for ruling, Magistrate Irene Washimanga threw out the state's application citing lack of merit. The court further ruled that there is no law that states that any counsel who is warned and cautioned cannot handle any matter, and he or she must recuse himself The matter now comes up on the 9th of September for mention and possible plea as the court awaits instruction from the Director of Public Prosecution. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
That is what we had for you as regards stories that were done some few years ago, and just bringing memories of what used to happen then. That's a segment that we call the Forgotten Stories segment, just to remind us of where we have come from. In that particular segment, we did give you a story talking about the decease by the former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis Mwila, who was talking to that particular fight, and many other stories that we did give you just to remind you of where we have come from as a country and what was making the headlines in those particular days. And on that note, we come to the end of today's Lunchtime Cafe. Do not forget to join us again tomorrow as we bring to you another exciting and informative program. On behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed afternoon.